Good morning, friends. Thanks for being with us this morning for our daily word. I'm Pastor Colin. And during this time of trial, of frustration, of craziness, I'm reminded of a story in the very first book of the Bible in Genesis. And at the end of that story, we hear about a person named Joseph. His father Jacob passes away, and in that story, Joseph's brothers have plotted against him to kill him, to get rid of him. And when Jacob passes away, they go to Joseph and they beg for him not to be too harsh with them. But he says this at the end of the book of Genesis. His brothers then came and threw themselves down before him. "We are your slaves," they said. But Joseph said to them, "Don't be afraid. Am I in the place of God? You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. So then don't be afraid. I will provide for you and your children." And he reassured them and spoke kindly to them. Joseph gives good news in the midst of a trying time, that God is a God who repurposes, doesn't throw things aside, cast things aside, but uses the bad, the suffering, the evil, the darkness in our life, and recreates it, repurposes it into light, into goodness, into things that we care about, into beautiful things, things that we love. It reminds me of another story in the Old Testament, the prophet Jeremiah. He receives this vision that God is the potter and we are the clay. God can use whatever material in the world, whatever willful acts done by humans, whatever disaster might befall us, whatever thing comes into our lives, and repurpose it into something good and beautiful. I'm grateful for that promise because sometimes it's hard for me to see how God could do anything with what's going on right now. But I rest in assurance that God is a God who repurposes, a repurposing God. And I rest in that promise, and it gets me through the day. I hope that provides you some comfort as well, that God can repurpose anything. Amen.